You know that feeling, right? You're standing in a store, staring at this giant wall of water bottles. You've got the sleek stainless steel ones, the super clear glass ones, the really light plastic ones, and you're just trying to figure out which one is the right choice. We all want to do what's best for ourselves and for the planet. But let me tell you, the real answer is probably not what you think. So let's just dive right into it. We're going to break down the actual science and the hard data behind our daily hydration habits. It's time to figure out what really matters when you pick up that bottle. All right, first things first, let's just compare these materials on the stuff we notice every single day. How tough are they? How easy are they to carry around? And are they safe? This table just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got stainless steel, that's the tank, the one that's gonna last forever, but man, it can be heavy. Then there's glass, which is amazing for pure taste, but we've all had that heart-stopping moment when one slips. And then you have these new plastics like Tritan, which are kind of the best of both worlds. Super light, super tough. It really just comes down to trade-offs. And this is a super important point. Not all plastics are the same. Not even close. The old school plastics, yeah, they had issues with things like BPA and could get kind of gross over time. But the game has totally changed. New materials like Tritan are engineered from the ground up to be BPA-free, to be tough as nails, and to stay crystal clear without holding on to weird smells. It's a whole different ballgame now. Okay, now we're getting to the part that honestly blows most people's minds. When you have to grab a drink on the go, you probably reach for a glass bottle or an aluminum can, thinking, yep, this is the greener choice. But what does the science actually say when you look at the entire life of that container?
To get the real answer, we have to use this incredible tool called a life cycle assessment, or LCA for short. This isn't about what feels right. It's a super rigorous cradle-to-grave analysis that adds up every single bit of environmental cost of a product. And boom, here's the first shocker from a bunch of these LCA studies. For a single-use container, that lightweight PET plastic bottle, it actually creates the least greenhouse gas. Why? Well, glass is super heavy to ship around, and it takes a crazy amount of heat to make, so it ends up with the biggest carbon footprint of the three.
And it doesn't stop there. We see the exact same story when we look at how much energy it takes to make them. The sheer power needed to melt sand into glass or process ore into aluminum is just massive. PET production is still energy intensive, don't get me wrong, but it's just a whole lot more efficient by comparison. And guess what? Same thing for water usage. The way PET is made just gives it this huge advantage over glass and aluminum when you're only going to use it once. The data is just crystal clear across the board. Okay, so wait a minute. If all the data about single-use stuff seems, well, completely backwards, then maybe we're asking the wrong question entirely. Maybe the question isn't which disposable is best. Maybe the real question is, what's the one thing that actually matters most for sustainability? This is the magic number right here, 50. That's about how many times you need to refill that stainless steel bottle to cancel out the bigger environmental hit it took to make it. Once you pass 50 uses, that reusable bottle is the hands-down winner, no contest. But before that, you might as well have used a disposable. This one number changes everything. At the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. It's not really about plastic versus glass versus metal. It's about disposable versus reusable. The material your bottle is made of matters so much less than the simple habit of just using it again and again and again. So, where do we go from here? If reusability is key, how do we build a future where materials just keep going in a loop instead of being used once and then thrown away? To make plastics part of that loop, we have proven systems like mechanical recycling. It's pretty straightforward, really. You collect the old bottles, you wash them, chop them into tiny flakes, and then melt those flakes down into little pellets that can be used to make brand new bottles. It's a really powerful way to close the loop. But that's not the whole story. The really big vision for the future is a system where mechanical recycling works hand in hand with chemical recycling, which can break plastics all the way back down to their original building blocks. Putting these two together would let us recycle way more stuff and build a truly powerful circular system. All right, so after digging into all of this, the everyday use, the deep science, the power of just using things again, we're back to that first question. And now, hopefully, we've got a much better and honestly, a much more empowering answer. So here's the bottom line. The most eco-friendly bottle isn't something you need to go out and buy.
It's the one that's already sitting in your kitchen cabinet. The number one factor is just using it. Now, if you have to grab a single-use drink, the data shows PET has a lower impact to produce. But for the long haul, a durable bottle that you love and actually use every day is the undisputed champion. The power isn't in the material, it's in our habits.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? We spend so much time and energy arguing about materials. But what if the real change, the most sustainable choice we can make, isn't a material at all? What if it's a shift in our mindset, from a culture of throwing things away to a culture of using things again? And that's a choice every single one of us can make.